episode of Practical Research 2. Good afternoon, Ms. Amis Oriental. Good afternoon, student researchers. Are you ready to have some fun with me, your teacher, Ms. Ana Rose J. Catian? Come on, let us discover something new in this episode of Practical Research 2. According to Neil Armstrong, research is creating new knowledge. Are you ready to create one?
But before anything else, it's review time.
In previous lesson, you have learned the scope and limitation of the study. This time, I want you to get a pen and paper for your answers. As a review, based on your understanding, define what is scope and limitation of the study in 2 sentences. You have 1 minute to write your answer.
Time is up. Let us now define scope and limitation. There are many ways on how to define scope and limitation.
The scope of the study basically means all those things that will be covered in the research topic. The limitations of the study are those characteristics of design that have impact or influence in the interpretation.
Did you get it? If you have, well done!
Remember, scope of the study refers to how far the research area has been explored and has been operating within parameters of the study.
Let us have a short break before we proceed to our new lesson.
Gusto kong maging guro. Gusto ko maging sundalo. Gusto ko maging nurse. Gusto kong maging doktor. Gusto kong mag-aral.
In a world that is full of uncertainties, one thing is for sure. Children don't stop dreaming. DepEd Miss Orr is poised to be more as it wipes out uncertainties by giving more opportunities through education for all our learners. We are ready to bring excellence as we maximize and optimize our resources in education, and these resources are in our possession: talents, technology, and time. Our teachers, resilient as they are, adapt into the new normal. As repositories of time-tested strategies, they prepared self-learning modules covering the most important learning competencies to deliver relevant lessons in 203 days through physical, virtual, or online modalities. Technology can break barriers, but it can also create barriers. So we make sure that the technology that we use is available in our teaching and learning environment. One strategy on how we optimize the use of technology is through our project modem, or Miss Oriental Digital Education Mainstream. Now, almost 100% of the districts has established the ICT network, which facilitated the delivery of training and other initiatives to now almost 100% of our teachers.
As teachers, we need to make ourselves relevant by adopting techniques that facilitate learning in the new normal.
All these are covered under Elevate. This is to ensure that methodologies used in teaching and learning are varied, learner-centered, and multimodal. DepEd Miss Orr will continue to scale up organizational accountability and responsibility to acquire fresh new perspectives on school leadership through Project SOAR 2.0. All these initiatives are being laid because DepEd Miss Orr believes that education is a non-negotiable basic human right, and since children's safety is paramount in this time of the pandemic, our modalities should work to their advantage.
This COVID-19 crisis is a test of our character. It teaches us resilience and creativity. It sparks our confidence to thrive and fuels our tenacity to succeed. It ignites within us the desire to excel and to be more.
What is a conceptual framework? Why do we need such concepts in research? How to prepare one?
This lesson explains the meaning of a conceptual framework. Several theories and concepts that may support your study can be encountered as you look for a related literature for your topic. This conceptual framework will serve as a backbone that will direct you to the whole research activity.
Conceptual framework as defined by Barrow 2017, it refers to a system of ideas, beliefs, assumptions, and theories that inform, supports, and cater specifically to your study. It guides the planning, development, and implementation of the research study that you chose. There are different ways of presenting a conceptual framework as organized by Torneo and Torneo 2017.
First is diagram.
This visual diagram will show the interconnections and relationships among the variables and the different elements of your study. Accordingly, it's the most preferred way by the researchers since it is easier for the readers to visualize the ideas that they are discussing in their research.
Second is narrative discussion.
Another way of presenting a conceptual framework is a narrative discussion in which you reiterate the general assumption of your study, grounded from a theory, then proceed to discussing the specific relationships assumed to be observed in the study. Here is an example of a narrative discussion. Assumptions of social capital, primarily based on the interpretations of Putnam 1994-2001 and Fukuyama 2011, and theories of participatory development, stresses the role of civil society participation to improve development outcomes. This study, examining countries from the Southeast Asia, hypothesizes that CSO consultation and CSO repression impacts income and education inequality. CSO consultation is expected to be negatively correlated to both income and education inequality, while CSO repression is seen as a contributing factor to the persistence and increase in income and education inequality.
Third is sets of propositions.
This conceptual framework involves a series of hypotheses that makes use of various measurements and assumes varying directions of the relationship among variables. Look at some examples of sets of propositions. Hypothesis: increases in government investments in education and health will, first, positively and significantly affect average family income. Second, positively and significantly affect productivity. Third, negatively and significantly affect poverty incidence. Fourth, negatively and significantly affect unemployment rate.
Lastly, mathematical equation or model.
This form of the conceptual framework is common to the researches that require computations or are highly mathematical in nature.
Look at the example of a mathematical equation of basic gravity model of migration.
The equation sees migration as a function of population and distance and some constant k. Mij is the number of migrants moving from place I. Pj is the population of place j. And Dij is the distance between place I and j by Torneo 2014.
I hope you enjoyed our lesson about formulating a conceptual framework.
Now, it's time for our recap. Conceptual framework, as defined by Barrow 2017, it refers to a system of ideas, beliefs, assumptions, and theories that inform, supports, and cater specifically to your study. It guides the planning, development, and implementation of the research study that you chose. Different ways of presenting conceptual framework. First is diagram. Second is narrative discussion. Reiterate the general assumption of your study, grounded from a theory, then proceed to discussing the specific relationships. Third is sets of propositions. This conceptual framework involves a series of hypotheses that makes use of various measurements and assumes varying directions of the relationship among variables. Fourth is mathematical equation or model. This conceptual framework is common to the researches that require computations or are highly mathematical in nature.
Now, let us try what you have learned. Prepare your notebook and pen.
Assessment time. Conceptualize. Create a conceptual framework using the variables below and write the appropriate words in the boxes given. You will be given 5 minutes to answer the activity.
time is up, keep your answers. You will submit that for checking. Reminders for the submission, mail it to your teacher's email or you can drop it in the designated submission box. We will learn more in the next episode, so take time to read your module. So by next time, you will be ready to discover and have some fun. Always remember, research is creating new knowledge. Thanks for tuning in, researchers. See you in the next episode of Practical Research 2. Miss or be more. Till next time!